So, what's it like being without my new Tesla? I'm on a trip right now, back in Texas by the time you guys see this, probably. But anyway, I'm on a trip. I'm in Ohio, quite a distance from deep South Texas, for sure. And all have been down here, or up here, I guess, for about almost 3 months. 3 months away from the brand new Tesla that I only had for a few weeks before I left, right? So what have I been driving? Well, I've been driving a Honda Civic 4-door. This is pretty new. I think it's a 2023, if I'm not mistaken. It might be a 2024. So it's the latest and greatest with the Honda Civic. But there are some differences, and I realize this is not a Cadillac or a Lexus or anything like that. But the first thing that I notice is ride quality. This is not bad, don't get me wrong. It's nice and smooth, it's comfortable, it's not horrible, but it definitely has a lot more road feel than the Tesla does. That's one of the things that I noticed about the Tesla right away, is how smooth it is. And you kind of get used to it, and you kind of forget about it after a while until you're in something else. And I have to say, I really miss having to give up on the Tesla, or give up the Tesla, I should say, for this period of time. I mean, it's a quarter of a year, right? I don't know. The next thing, of course, is the technology and stuff inside. You know, I've gotten used to having the Tesla. It is a Model 3, by the way. It's a 2024. And it's very sparse inside, if you will. Very simple. I mean, you have a steering wheel and you have an infotainment system, or a big screen, right? I think it's a 15-inch screen. In this car, I've got all this stuff in front of me. Vents and adjustments and a gauge cluster. Of course, there is an infotainment screen, but it's a heck of a lot smaller than what I've gotten used to. All kinds of things in here. A lot more, I don't want to say complicated, that's the wrong word, but a lot more cluttered, I guess, after you get used to the simplicity of driving around in a Tesla. Let's talk about power. You know, any electric vehicle is going to be pretty quick, right? And I'm an acceleration junkie anyway. Not that I'm drag racing everybody every time I take off, but I like to go, and I like to feel like I guess got a lot more left than what I'm using. And I don't feel that in the Honda. Although I will say, for a 4-cylinder, this is pretty peppy. It's pretty quick. It's not Tesla quick, but it is pretty quick. I miss that. I miss not having that instant acceleration, right? The next thing is the one-pedal driving. You know, that's something that when I first got the Tesla, I didn't think I was going to like. It's probably one of the things, I guess, that I didn't like when I drove a Tesla for the first time. That was a Model S, I believe. It was just weird to me that when you would let off the accelerator, the car would automatically start to stop. Not like that in the Civic, of course. I mean, when I let off the gas like I just did now, or the accelerator, it just keeps coasting and going. There's nothing grabbing you, slowing you down like you have in the Tesla. And I really like that. I love the sensation of it. I kind of look at it as a game too, I guess. You know, when I'm pulling up somewhere to stop or something, you have to estimate when you need to let off the accelerator so that you stop at the line or where you're trying to stop. Either a stop sign crosswalk, or a crosswalk at a light, or any situation, I guess, where you have to stop. I really like the way that it drives, the way that that regenerative braking system works. And that's what we're talking about, regenerative braking. By the way, speaking of that, I never really notice any range increase when I'm driving around on flat ground, I guess. I had a comment from someone recently telling me that they use the system in an area where they have a lot of hills. And if they're going down a hill or something, I guess they can kind of employ that system to slow them down. Obviously, if you're going down a steep hill, it's not going to bring you to a complete stop instantly. but they've picked up somewhere between 5 and 6% of range just driving in the area they live in by utilizing the one pedal driving method, if you will. Another thing I want to point out, somebody told me that they didn't really like that system, that it felt weird, that they wanted to be able to use the brake. And I think there's a misconception out there that regenerative braking eliminates the need for using the brake pedal. That's not true. If it bothers you and you don't like driving it that way anyway, you can just move your foot on over and utilize the brake pedal like I'm doing right now in this ICE vehicle, right? Internal combustion engine. So it's not something that you necessarily have to use, but I gotta say, I can't imagine if anybody gives it a fair shake, gives it a fair try, that you wouldn't like using it after a while. Another thing I wanted to mention is charging versus fill up or fuel, gas. Obviously with the Tesla, I don't have to take it anywhere to recharge. I have a 240 volt system at home, which by the way, I would recommend for anybody who's getting a Tesla. No way would I be using a 110 charger to charge that car up. I think if you try to do that, you're going to spend an awful lot of time waiting. I mean, if you're really low, it could take 2 or 3 days of just sitting to charge up if you're using a 110 outlet. But anyway, 240 volts. I plug my car in when I'm at home. In a couple, 3 hours, if I'm relatively low, it's 100% and I'm ready to go. And this is passive time. This is time that I wouldn't be driving the vehicle anyway. With this car, obviously, I've got to keep an eye on the gas gauge. Not that I don't watch the electricity gauge on the Tesla. I do. I'm kind of a stickler on that. But anyway, I've got to watch the gas gauge, and then I got to go somewhere and get gas. I don't have that convenience of just refueling it at home. It's a little quirky thing, I know, and something I want to add, I guess, is I don't take the Tesla on long distance trips, so I don't anticipate ever needing to use a supercharger or a charger away from home. If you do, then we'd be talking about something else, and frankly, I don't know if I'd be as happy with the car if I did use it for that purpose, longer distance traveling where I had to charge up somewhere else. No matter what anybody tells you, it is no way as quick as just pulling up at the gas station to fill up. And I know people will say, well, you can pull up, plug in, and then go inside, use the restroom, walk around for a while, go shopping, get something to eat. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm on a long distance trip, the last thing I want to do is spend more time milling around at a charging station or a gas station or anything like that. I want to go. I mean, think about it. If you take a multi-hour trip, every minute that you're sitting there beyond when you would normally have to with an ICE vehicle is time that you're adding to that trip in the end. It's just not for me. So anyway, I did get rid of the Tesla for 3 months in that it's not available for me to drive because I'm away from home. Love that car. I can't see not ever having one. It's just that good. Leave a comment. Let me know. If you've got an electric vehicle, be it a Tesla or something else, can you ever see a point where you won't have one again? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.